So Mary Kay, why don't you kick us off? And listen, it can be good, it can be bad, it can be whatever. Just what have we learned about this team from when we left training camp and they played the Ravens and Bengals to now?
Well, I'm just going to start with probably the biggest issue right now in my own mind, and that is that they have to do, they're winning football games, but they kind of have to work around Baker Mayfield a little bit. They're lucky that they have a defense that leads the NFL with 12 takeaways. They're pretty lucky that they have a really good running game and that they have some of the best skill positions in the NFL, because right now it's about finding ways to beat the teams that you can beat or that you should beat in those kinds of ways, and just kind of hoping that your quarterback can kind of hang in there and not throw too many interceptions. So that's sort of foremost in my mind right now. And I would have to say that's the biggest thing that we've learned so far.
And look, that's been the big topic of conversation all week since Sunday. And it's sort of what is Baker Mayfield's ceiling? And I guess what we've learned is, well, I mean, if you're being optimistic, hopefully we don't know. Or if you're kind of looking at what we've seen over these first few 6 games here, you're kind of thinking, maybe it's a little more limited than we thought. Ellis, what do you think?
Baker Mayfield, 3 of his 4 largest yards per attempt stats. So when he was in double digits or flirting with the high 9s, 3 of those 4 times he was in that range came against the Bengals. On the season, he's in the mid 6s, which as a baseline, if you're not above 8, really, you're not threatening the defense. I'll put it that way. So this is a spot that I'm sure Browns fans aren't comfortable in. They don't want to be in. Of course, the organization, the goal is to find that franchise quarterback. And Baker does get 2 more games against those 2 defenses I just named. But the good news is the Bengals are up next, and history bodes well for Baker versus that defense.
The biggest concern too for Baker is really like it's the turnovers, right? If Baker isn't turning the ball over, you can win with him. You can kind of, I've heard some people throw out the sort of the Alex Smith comparison. If you have a guy that at least is serviceable, that at least can help you win games, that works. But the problem is Alex Smith didn't turn the ball over, like, ever. Mm-hmm. Baker's turning the ball over too much. So if you're asking him to be sort of a game manager, it's sort of that winning with versus winning because. If he's turning the ball over, it's not going to work.
Exactly. That is the whole key right now, because the way that they have it set up, the way they scheme it up, the way Kevin Stefanski draws it up, it's like, okay, we have to work with what we have. It's pretty obvious right now that they are working with what they know they have and what they know they don't have. And all he has to do, like you said, is kind of not screw it up. Don't be going out and throwing a pick 6 on the first play of the game. Don't throw 2 interceptions in the second half of the previous game. Like, just don't do those kinds of things. Don't make those mistakes. But teams are getting a book on him. There's starting to be a formula on how to shut him down, how to hem him in, how to make him uncomfortable with pressure, how to get in his face, and how to make him, make those kinds of mistakes, disguise your coverages and things like that.
Yeah, and I want to add to the interception point real quickly. That's what's been so disappointing, Dan. You said it, because we do the whether it's the Alex Smith comp or the Kirk Cousins comp with Baker Mayfield. That was the thing with Kirk Cousins last season with Kevin Stefanski as offensive coordinator. He didn't turn the ball over. I'm very confident he was in single-digit picks. I want to say somewhere between like 6 and 8, something like that. And now with Kevin Stefanski out of Minnesota, Kirk Cousins is turning the ball over a lot. I would be shocked if he isn't already at double-digit picks. I know he had 3 last week. He's his second 3 turnover game. Kevin Stefanski's in Cleveland, and the Browns quarterback is still throwing interceptions. This offense is built to put the quarterback in advantageous situations, to make the throws simple, to have him not throwing into traffic, and yet somehow he's finding a way to do the opposite. Quick stat, and double dipping here. This is on Gotta Watch the Tape also, so I'll just throw it out to you. I know, right? Since I got my notepad in front of me. Since 2018, the only QBs with as many multiple turnover games, Baker Mayfield has 11 2-interception games since 2018. So the only 2 quarterbacks with as many or more since 2018 are Phillip Rivers and Jameis Winston. Browns fans just saw what Phillip Rivers is, and Winston now is a rebuilding project in New Orleans. The turnovers are the issue, and they'll probably stop for Cincinnati, but as this trend continues, it's the number one thing I'm watching.
Yeah, we'll move on to your thing here, but the Jameis Winston thing is, it's funny you brought that up because I looked it up. I think it was Sunday. Jameis threw 44 picks in his first 3 seasons. Baker's already up to 41.
Wow, Dan.
And he's not even done with his 3rd season yet.